Greetings, Israel and sojourners of Israel. My name is Brother Andrew, and today I will have some vital information to share with the nation of Israel. Just recently, I put up a YouTube video. DNA and scriptures confirm that the Negroes are the chosen people. And this is a part 2 to that video. And I want to address the Israelite nation who believe differently, such as IUIC, GMS, GOCC, and these different camps that teach that 12 tribe chart and the people on that 12 tribe chart that Israel can marry those people. Those people on that chart, they are Gentiles. They are not Israelites. First, let me say, and Israel cannot marry any Gentile nation. I want to reference GOCC in particular, and the reason why I want to address GOCC, I first found out that I am an Israelite by the GOCC organization. So first, let me address GOCC. I was in the church in Florida for 4 years. I was taught by Elder Fernell, an honest, a righteous, and an upright brother. A brother that loved the Most High and teaches truth from the bottom of his heart. May the Most High bless him. All praises to the Most High. I am not here to bash the church, to say anything bad about the church. I got my foundation from the church. And I just want to say, I cannot do that. I share this prudent information with the leadership of the church. I send a link to Elder Lawyer. I send a link to Elder Fernell. I send a link to Elder Shamal of New York. Also, I contacted the leader in Barbados. I wanted also to send a link to Elder Yaktazakwa. But for some reason, I think I lost his number and I cannot reach him. But if you're out there, I try to send you this link, this very vital information that you need and the church need to know. And I do hope and pray that the leaders of the church will watch this video with an open mind. Not a mind of condemnation, not a mind of resentment, but with an open mind. And hear what thus saith the Most High. Let's look at Ezekiel chapter 33, line 6. Again, Ezekiel chapter 33, line 6. And Sister Malaka is going to do the reading.
Ezekiel 33, line 6, and I'm reading from the King James Version of the Bible. But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come, and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
Elder Okara, you are the watchman of GOCC, and it's your responsibility to teach the flock and to lead the flock in the right direction. The Most High will require the sheep. You, as a shepherd, you are responsible for the sheep, and the Most High will hold you responsible for the sheep. I have in my hand a book, From Babylon to Timbuktu. Let me give you the story of this book. When we first joined GOCC, the organization were adamant that we buy these books. It's a whole bunch of books that we had to buy, and this is one of the books, From Babylon to Timbuktu. And on page chapter 4, in the last paragraph, I have it highlighted in yellow. Chapter 4 and the last paragraph. I hope you can see that. It is right there. If I flip the page, I'll get to this 34 and the very first paragraph. And if you could look and read carefully, I hope you can see this. I'll bring it up that you can see it. I'll bring it up a little more that you can see it. And I'll bring it down that you can see it. I just want to make sure you can read it and hear what it says. Sister Malaka will do the reading for me. And I really appreciate Sister Malaka. She's a beautiful sister. May the Most High bless her.
Again, I'm reading from the book From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor, starting on page 33, chapter 4, the last paragraph. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel were all black people. Let me read that again. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel were all black people. This I shall prove to you by a gradual method. And I'm continuing with the next paragraph. After Joseph was sold down into Egypt as a slave, we find in the 42nd chapter of Genesis that he has become the viceroy of Egypt. Joseph's 10 brothers came into Egypt, Egypt is in Africa, to buy corn because a famine was in the land. All newcomers who came into Egypt had to buy corn from Joseph. But when Joseph's 10 brothers came to Africa, they did not recognize him. They did not recognize him because Joseph had grown up and the Egyptians were a black people like the sons of Jacob. Jacob's 10 sons considered Joseph to be another black Egyptian. We know this to be true because the 10 brothers returned and reported to their father. The man who is the Lord of the land spoke roughly to us. Furthermore, if Joseph had been white, he would have aroused the curiosity of his brothers very rapidly. We really do not need any more proof that the Israelites were black. I will stop right here. Thank you.
Sister Malaka, I want you to reiterate the last paragraph for me one more time on page 32. The last paragraph, it says Abraham.
That's on page 33, the last paragraph. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes of Israel were all black people.
Thank you, Sister Malaka. This book, again, this book, we had to buy this book. It was a must. We had to buy this book. And my question to the elder, have you read this book? Because it teaches something totally opposite to what this book is saying. And it calls to mind a preacher, very popular preacher, very sought after preacher. And he preached, but he did not believe what he preached. So he was questioned. How can you preach and don't believe what you preach? And his reply was, I get paid for this. I'm being paid to say what I say. And trust me, I hope and pray that the elders of UIC, GMS, GOCC, and the others that teach, that have this book, because wherever we go and they see these camps, this is the first book because of the color. This is the first book you can see. I hope they don't have that mindset. It's really, really sad that you could, and that to me, that's hypocritical, because you promote this book, but yet you don't teach what is in this book. You teach something total opposite. And that is really, really sad. You teach that North American Indians, we teach that the Aboriginal Indians, all these people are the 12 tribes of Israel. And that is not true. That is totally incorrect. This is not a rebuke. This is for leadership to correct their mistakes. And if leadership in those camps does not correct this mistake, the sheep, when they go astray, the Most High will hold you dearly responsible. Israel is not to marry outside their nation. And I repeat again, Israel is not to marry outside their nation. Let's look at Nehemiah 13, chapter 13, line 23 to 27. And I can prove conclusively to you that Israel is not to marry outside their nation. Sister Malaka, please read for us.
Nehemiah 13, line 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Let me repeat that. Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Line 26. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things?
And he sinned because he married these strange women. If modern Israel today, what the Moses said in, look at Malachi 3 and 6, please, Sister Malaka. Look at Malachi chapter 3, line 6. I want to read that line for me.
Malachi 3, line 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Again, for I am the Lord, I change not.
I am the Lord, and I change conditionally.
I change not.
I am the Lord, and I change not. If the Moses tells Solomon, who was an Israelite, not to marry strange women, the modern day Israelites, it applied to the modern day Israelites. So when we go there and we teach wrong, we teach falsehoods, our people is going to go astray. And we'll go, that was very informative. Sister Malaka, can you continue?
Yes, I'll continue on line 26. Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin.
My God, even Solomon did outlandish women cause Solomon to sin against his God, against his power. Sad, sad, sad. Anyway, we're going to look at Deuteronomy 7, line 1 to 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, line 1. And again, I'm reading from the King James Version of the Bible. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them, and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. Let me read that again. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
These 7 nations that the Moses is speaking of here, that was in the land of Israel, that the Moses dispossessed out of the land of Israel. they were Hamitic nations. They looked like you and I. Ham children, Ham offspring could marry anyone. If Ham wanted to marry a Gentile, he's free to marry a Gentile. Ham wanted to marry the Edomite, he's free to marry the Edomite. If Ham wanted to marry anybody on that chart, it's not a problem. Israel cannot do that. And I repeat, Israel cannot do that. We're going to look at Exodus chapter 2, line 1.
Exodus chapter 2, line 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi.
Hear that?
Again. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi.
Sister Malaka, continue a little bit more on that. What it was saying that that is portraying the birth of Moses, and Moses' father, who was a Levite, married Moses' mother, who was a Levite, and it's just showing you that the Mosai was very specific with Israel. The Levites had to stay within their camp. The Judites have to stay within their camp. The Benjamites have to stay within their camps. They couldn't cross tribal marriages. No. Tribal marriages were not allowed. And the reason why the Mosai was clear on that, if there was a dissension, if there was any problems, you don't have to think which side I'm on. You know which side you are on. I'm a Levite. I'm a Judite. I'm a Issacharite. I'm a Benjamite. So the Mosai was clear. He says, look, he was very precise on that. I mean, not only that Israel should not marry outside the nation, but he was very precise. But because that we are scattered in the Western Hemisphere, we're in captivity. We lost our identity. We don't know who we are as a people. So it's going to be hard for us now. And the Mosai understand this. The Mosai, I mean, I'm a Bantu. I did my DNA, and I know I'm a Bantu. An Israelite by birth, a Bantu. Everybody don't know that. Some people can't afford to trace their lineage. But I trace mine, and I'm from the southern Bantu people. So the Mosai was very, very clear on that. We can't to stay within our nation. And let me say this. This is not a rebuke. This is a matter of correction. We have to correct that mistake. If we do not correct that mistake, the Mosai is going to hold us responsible. Because we're leading Israel astray. We're feeding Israel falsehood. Israel is not... Israel, I mean, if the shepherd lead the sheep astray, the Mosai is going to hold the shepherd responsible. The sheep have no guidance. The Mosai put the shepherd to guide the sheep. And the shepherd is leading the sheep astray by marrying these Gentile nations. Every person on that chart, except for the true Negroes, are Gentiles. And I repeat, every person on that chart, except for the true Negroes, are Gentiles. We are not supposed to marry those people. Again, the Hamites can marry anybody, but the Israelites has to marry within their nation. Again, I thank you, and I pray and hope and trust that these camps, GOCC, IUIC, GMS, and these One West camps that teach that lie will reconsider and teach truth. Because you cannot make it to the kingdom. The Mosai is going to hold you responsible. You're not going to make it in the Mosai's kingdom. If you make a mistake, the Mosai is going to forgive. Yes, we all are human. We are subject to mistake. But we repeat a lie. It's a habit. It's habitual. And the Bible says no liar can inherit eternal life. Thank you. May the Mosai bless.